What's up, you guys? Shartimus Prime here, doing another DC Collectibles action figure review on the DC Comics icon Superman. If you're trying to pick this up, it is available right now.
Big! Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below.
Now, I really like the DC Icons line, and I really like Superman, so I'm very pumped for this figure right over here. I like the packaging. I like that we get the Superman symbol right over there on the inside of the icons. On the side, you can see he's number 10, and this is from the Man of Steel storyline. And then on the back, you can see the other figures from the wave. I did pick up Harley Quinn, so I will definitely be reviewing that. And then on the side right here, it just says Superman. You get some vents, and then you get the Superman symbol right up there. Alright, let's get to it and crack this thing open. And here's Superman out of the packaging. And I gotta say, this is a pretty good figure. Not a great figure. I kind of went back and forth with this one. At first, I was really excited, and then I'd opened it up, and then I was a little disappointed. And then I got excited all over again after spending some time posing the figure around. He also comes with Kelix right over here, his Kryptonian robot butler, and that is on the stand that he comes with. This stand right here is a Mafex stand, which is not included, but he does come with some interchangeable hands. So let's take a closer look at Kelix, and then we'll take a closer look at Superman. Who's the big E.T. fan at DC Comics, huh? Who's the one who said, hey, we gotta make Kelix look like E.T.? But anyway, I think it looks pretty good. I really like the gold paint, and I love that we're getting a darker gold paint right there in the seams, which is very subtle. If I darken things up, yeah, you can see it a little bit better like that. Very cool. And I like that we get this glossy translucent plastic right here for his visor. That's really nice too. Yeah, that's looking really cool. Looking at the rest of him over here, you know, he's got these long arms, this little abdomen piece right over here, so he kind of looks like an insect. Goes right up his culito right there. On the back it looks pretty good. And then this stand's pretty nice. He kind of topples over a little bit. I mean, you have to have his arms thrown back some so that he doesn't, you know, just fall forward. He does have articulation though. You can move his arms forward and back, and then his head turns side to side, and it doesn't move up and down or anything. I really wish he had a piece of articulation right over here so that it would help balancing the figure, you know what I mean? But, you know, it's not too bad. Let's see. Yeah, there he goes. Then Superman comes with two pairs of hands over here. You get these closed-fisted hands, and then you get these open hands. I wish he had flat hands, so I can't say I'm too stoked about these. You know, it looks alright, but I wish, yeah, he had, you know, the flat hands so you can get him into those iconic Superman poses. And the hands are sculpted pretty well. Not great, though. I'm not seeing a real thumbnail sculpt. Oh, kind of, yeah. It's kind of a small figure, so... yeah, I'm not really seeing the fingernails sculpted in there too well. Guess I could have added that detail in there, but you do see some lines on the inside of the hand that look pretty good too. And these port in and out of his wrists very easily. Now, I was opening this up while on a Skype conference with one of my patrons, Nick, Patreon, if you want to, you know, support, please help. Anyway, he noticed right off the bat that the eyes looked weird, and they do look weird. There's this weird pink paint underneath each of the eyes right over here, and it has like these weird little pink and white dots, you know, and then it looks like there's just a little bit too much black above his eyes. I don't know. I'm not really digging the paint right there. I will say I like the sculpt a lot though. I really like this chiseled chin. The cheekbone came out looking really nice. The eyebrows don't look too bad or anything, and I like how the paint came out for the mouth and stuff. So I really like the head sculpt on here. It's just the paint is weird. And then he has this weird paint right there in his ear hole. It's like, what is that doing there, man? Wow. You did not need to put any paint in the ear hole. Same thing with this ear hole over here. It's a lot more subtle on that side, so it doesn't look too bad. But yeah, it's like a butthole on the side of his head, you know? But anyway, look on the back of the head. You know, you can see some really nice hair sculpted. And, you know, it looks really nice on the top of his hair right there. The curly Q right there for the Superman S hair looks really nice. So, and I'm really liking the deco right here for the Superman symbol. That looks great. I love how it's sculpted right here, so you can see that. And I like the musculature, you know, it looks like Superman level of buffed, you know. And I really like how the cape looks, and you can see, you know, like this part of his neck and everything. And you also get the symbol sculpted around here on the cape. And it looks pretty nice. I'm liking that too. I love seeing the yellow. I don't know what it is, but I love seeing the yellow Superman symbol on the back. The cape looks alright. No shadowing effect or anything, but it's pretty solid. And same thing goes for the figure itself. It doesn't have any shadowing effect, but there's a lot of sculpted work in here to appreciate. Like for instance, I like how you can see a little bit of a stretchy fabric over the abs right there, which I don't know how anatomically correct that is. It looks like the abs go really far outward, but I don't know. And then looking at his shorts, it gets a little bit weird with some gappage, which I can understand because, you know, you need some room for articulation, but still, I don't know. I wish they'd done something a little bit different over here. It looks a bit weird. It's like the hips stick out wider than the shorts themselves, so yeah, I don't know. But like I said, there's a lot of things that stuck out with this figure that I didn't really like, but again, for the most part, I do like it. I like the glossy red right over here for the boots. I think the boots are sculpted out really nicely over here too. I like the little seam right over there. And underneath, you know, looks pretty good, and he does have peg holes. And then here's looking at the back of the figure without the cape. Superman butt, Superman back, Superman elbow. So that articulation's pretty decent on this figure. I like that he can look up, but he doesn't look up as much as I would really like him to. It looks like they really made sure not to make his hair too long back here with that little bit of a gap, but I feel like he could look up even more than that, but you know, it's not too bad. He doesn't have the armpit joint, which I really wish he had. That way you can get his arms kind of, you know, his fists closer together for a flying pose, so you can't move the shoulders inward at all, and I would have really liked to have seen that. But anyway, you can move the arms forward, as you can just see right there, and the shoulders do move outward. He has a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, but he's still only getting just a little bit more than a 90-degree bend over there. The wrists swivel side to side and they hinge up and down. There's no paint chipping, which is great. He does have a diaphragm joint over here, which at first was very stiff, but you can see it turning right there, and it does crunch forward at the diaphragm and back at the diaphragm. He does have the waist crunching, so it can crunch forward that much and crunch back that far. So with the ab crunch or the waist crunch and the diaphragm joint moving backward, he can look up that much, which isn't too bad. You know, you can get him into flying poses and everything, so that's not terrible. You get hip joints that move outward very far, and he can kick forward that far. No waist swivel, actually no side to side movement on the whole leg. And I really wish he did have that thigh swivel. Double jointed knees, yeah, no boot rotation, and actually no rotation even at the ankle. It can move down and does move up, and it does have ankle pivot. While I'm setting this guy up to measure him out, I'm noticing that this leg looks like it's placed a little bit higher up than that leg over there, which makes him look kind of weird when you're trying to get him to just stand up like that. You can see that seam is a bit lower than that one. Now to measure this Superman, you can see he's standing just a little over 6 inches tall. And then for your Superman comparison, here we have the New 52 Superman, we have the DC Superheroes Superman, thank you so much John 3.0, we have the BVS STCC exclusive one right over there, and then the DC Direct Superman, which is my favorite. Superman Party, yeah!
Can't find Martha. Where's Martha? Where's Martha?
And then to compare Superman to some other icons Justice League figures, we have the Flash, we have Batman, and Green Lantern over here, which I will be reviewing as a Patreon exclusive. Ooh, 2 Patreon plugs in 1 video. That was just for the haters. And then here's the DC icon Superman compared to the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. Aw, hey there, little Superman. Hey, how are you gonna call yourself super if you can't do this, huh? Huh? Oh! There's Superman hovering right over there, looking pretty cool, you know. It's not too hard to get this guy into some pretty dynamic poses, you know. You'll see the slideshow in just a second. But I do like this figure. I will say that there are issues with it, and not everybody's going to want it. And I would really reserve recommending this for people that are big Superman fans. If you're a big Superman fan, you're really going to like it. And I really hope you guys liked my review. If you did, please hit the like button. Click any of the boxes popping up over here for more Shart and Tucada. If you have not hit the subscribe button, go ahead and click that button right over there. If you want to check out my last review, it was on the Kotobu Kiya Artifacts Plus The Force Awakens droid. C-3PO, BB-8, and R2-D2 all up over there. If you want to see that, click that over there. Then before that, I did a rant time with Shartimus Prime on prudes. Ooh yeah, I love the comment section over there on that video. So check that video out if you've not already. It's been a while since I've done a sketch. And if you want to support this channel, you know where to go. And if you want to see photo gallery of images, you can check them out over at toynewseye.com. I'll catch you guys later. Peace!
Posing action figures, I'm posing action figures, I'm posing action figures every day. I'm posing action figures, I'm posing action figures, I'm posing action figures, it's okay.
That's crispy.
It's strange. It's like he has a... It's like the...